Hello everyone, season's greetings and welcome to what is another annual tradition for us. So, without further ado, I am Lightning.
I'm Alice.
And this is us talking about our year of 2022, where the world actually began to feel like normal again. As in like full-fledged. We had game releases, we had controversy in video games, and of course we had an end of the year video game year award in which Xenoblade got a little bit closer to the crown. But you know what? Let's get into the year and whatnot. And I think I can say personally for us as a channel, it's been a very tempestuous year.
Yeah.
Full of ups, a lot of downs, and a lot of weird moments. But let us get into it now. 2022. So this year, it wasn't really big for us on a streaming platform, I suppose. But granted though, we did have a hell of a lot of fun doing our usual stuff, whether it was demos or playing games for pretty much the first time really in full. So let's get to the games we streamed. And first off, we started off extremely strong with Pokemon Arceus, which in all honesty got really shafted at the Game Awards this year.
Yeah, and DLC and just add-ons in general.
But this was one of the first games which we streamed pretty much for long periods of time, for pretty much a week. And we had fun all through it.
Yeah, I had a blast. And also when Nexus joined in, it was just so fun.
Indeed.
Finding the souls.
Man, but it really brings up a point though. When Game Freak wants to step out of their normal Pokemon comfort zone and experiment, dude, they hit hard. Arceus was the most fun I've had in a Pokemon game for quite a long time.
Yeah.
It being open world, it being a unique and first catching mechanic of its kind in the Pokemon series. Oh no, it was refreshing, a hell of a blast. Now granted, yeah, sure, maybe on a performance and narrative standpoint, it wasn't peak Pokemon, but still though, for a platform and for a concept, it knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
And to your point, it's a real crime shame it has not got any DLC, but then again, there was Nintendo. Why? Are we shocked? I don't think so. But anyway though, I really hope that a sequel to Arceus comes, whether it's in another universe or Arceus 2, who knows. Game Freak, do one more please.
Yeah.
And then, next on this, going back to Nintendo, it was Fire Emblem Three Hopes. Trust me, we're gonna get to Fire Emblem in this video eventually.
Yeah.
So, for what it's worth, Koei Tecmo and the Dynasty Warriors style, it's always mindless fun. Whether it's just like mashing or just seeing how brutal or how over the top the animations can be. Again, and the fact that you can just freely move around with Fire Emblem characters which we've come to know and love and put to the back burner at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still though, the music was good, the environments were fun, the performance was a hell of a lot better than Age of Calamity. The fact that we could actually play two-player and not start a slideshow presentation is amazing. It's not a game in which we have finished yet, but maybe when everything calms down on a game standpoint for us, trust me, we'll get to that in a bit, we would love to go back and not only start streaming more, but, hey, you know, just do more games in general. So, with Nintendo out of the way regarding streaming, let's get to the others. And, first off, is we streamed Stray in full.
Yeah.
And for me, short, simple, a hell of a lot of fun, and it also got notes for winning awards, not just at the Game Awards, but for other news outlets as well.
Yeah, because I don't have much experience with indie games, and that was definitely the best one I played thus far.
Trust me, you are missing out when playing indie games. I can name a ton off the top of my head right now and say like, yes, this is good, this is awesome. Because with indies, you never know what you're gonna get. Gameplay styles, theming, storytelling, hell, size of development teams, it's always a grab bag. But yes, Stray, short, simple, and it's a cat game in which you get to play as a cat in full. What's not to love?
I know.
It was cute, charming, and man, I loved it to bits. And one of the last games which we streamed today, this year, is we started on Xenosaga, the first one. And you can definitely tell there's been some growing pains with that series, and you can definitely tell, like, yeah, this is the first one.
Yeah.
This is the first one. It's very slow burn, it's very atmospheric, but not great. You can definitely tell it was a very early 2000s game.
In retrospect, I kind of wish we'd done Xenogears for reasons we'll talk about later.
Hey, you know what? That is for next year. Anyway, though, that is streaming aside. I just want to clarify before going on Fire Emblem Three Hopes and Xenosaga, we will go back to at some point and beat it. It's just, you know, a certain game has overtaken our lives, pretty much. So now, on to LPs. And this is where things get a little bit awkward on our side. So, we start off from where we began in the new year with continuing Fire Emblem Three Houses, the Black Eagle routes. Now let's just talk about the elephant in the room. Yes, technical difficulties are still awry with that LP. For those of you who don't know, we got pretty much done with the first route and was pretty much halfway through the second route of the Black Eagles until we quickly realized that most of our footage had been corrupted.
Haha, surprise, surprise.
Yeah, and therefore we had to go back and play pretty much the entire story over and over again.
Yeah.
And because of our time and because of our limited schedules with other things that have come out, we just really haven't had the time to really hunker down and really get through it. But we will get to it eventually, and Black Eagle Route will be finished in LP format. The Golden Deer, however, that is a different story, but we'll talk about that when the Black Eagles are pretty much finished.
Yeah.
So, with that said, let's get to the other game in which we were LPing later on this year, which was Kirby and the Forgotten Lands. It's a charming game, man, and for Kirby, it was just so fun.
It won Family Game of the Year, too.
And I love seeing how Kirby was once, like, say, not part of the, like, holy trinity of Nintendo, but now look, Kirby winning awards when pretty much not a lot of other Nintendo IPs won.
It was especially fun because it's co-op.
Indeed.
So it's not just you do one episode and I do the next and so on and so forth.
Yeah, but co-op Let's Plays is something that I really want to get around to doing a lot more, but it's just games, time, and, you know, that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, Kirby did not reach its finale, but again, we do have a lot of episodes in a pipeline ready to go. So, once we have cleared schedules, I'd love to upload more. And you know what? Finish the game in full, because Kirb's cute, lovely, and I love it. But now, let's get to the main bulk of the channel, because really there's not anything left to say. So, let's get to it. And I'm going to start off with a bit of a mushy tone here. It started off when we were playing Arceus, and then a certain Nintendo Direct came about.
Oh, yeah.
And we lost our collective minds ever since that time.
Yeah.
Xenoblade 3 got announced. And from that first Direct, right up until pretty much the game's release, we started doing news videos about, you know, little drips and drops about what Xenoblade trivia we could find. Like, say, hey look, a new screenshot, a new music track, a new character, a new game mechanic, a new environment, anything we can get our hands on. We talked about it, and man, the response from you guys has just been absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
Honestly, it blew our mind just seeing how many of you guys watched the videos, liked them, and liked what we had to say, and just, it was a really awesome experience. And just that build-up of not just us two, but just seeing you guys talk about what you would love to see in Xenoblade 3. And for me, I'd love to do more of those videos.
Yeah.
I've even thought about, like, what if we branched off and did, like, news videos and, like, other gaming things? Oh no, I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts about that. Would you like to hear us discuss about video games in general? Hell, do we do a video game podcast?
Yeah, maybe just like analysis videos, like for example, why Dunban's the best character, or what makes Pyra and Mithra more in depth than what they seem.
Ranking every single Nop on Art Sage. Yes, or who is the best cat girl? In which the Insect would say, but there's only one in Xenoblade. I know, suck it! But anyway though guys, once again, thank you so much for all of the love that you gave those videos and just putting us up on like what, 300 subs on YouTube? It's amazing. So guys, thank you very much. You're awesome. I don't know what else to say.
Did you say there's only one cat girl in Xenoblade?
I know, I'm skipping over Juniper. I'm making the internet mad! Look, I'm making all of the Xeno simps mad at me, okay?
There's, including Juniper, there's 3 cat girls.
I know, fine, go on. There's Nia, there's Juniper. What's the third one?
Mio.
Mio, of course. Of course! How could I forget Mio because of the game that we have pretty much played non-stop for the year? Fun fact, guys, ever since it came out, it's been the only game in which we have played, recorded, or done anything with, and it's the one, the only Xenoblade 3. We have loved it from start to finish, and at the time of recording, we still have a few more videos to make of it. We're not done. We've pretty much played this every single chance we've got, and it's not a perfect game. It does have its hiccups, especially in the last part of the game. But still though, it's been an amazing amalgamation of monolith storytelling, great characters, great narratives, great music, and so on and so forth. And we are not done with the game, not just on the base game as is. We have still yet to touch the expansion pass. And it continues on to what we are going to be doing in the future. So this is now. But since how we're talking about Xenoblade, let's talk about the future.
Not the endless now.
No. Screw the endless now. So, let's go back and talk about the things in which we have wanted to do this year, but didn't get round to doing, if that sounds fair. So, let's start off with the obvious one. I feel like that is going to be the biggest issue, I suppose. Bayonetta 3. Originally, I think everyone was looking forward to playing this game. It was the combination of the Bayonetta series, you know, like, its development's been through hell, switching publishers, worried about getting funding and whatnot. And then, of course, as soon as the game came out, there was a little bit of a miscommunication with its lead voice actress.
Yeah.
But because of details that have come out since then, it seems the game is in the moral clear. Now granted, it's not a finite story and it's not the end, and there's not a clear-cut answer on who's in the wrong or who's in the right, but still, it's been a little bit morally ambiguous. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So, now with that out of the way, let's talk about another one. Star Ocean Divine Force. Granted, I'm not so hung up about not being able to play this game, seeing how the last one wasn't, you know, a wooer at all. But still though, the reviews have been solid, and it looks pretty fun to play, so you never know. Maybe, stream in the future, we might actually get round to it. Now, next two ones are going to be a little bit controversial. One for good reasons and one for bad reasons. So, let's start off with the bad, because, you know, I like to end things on a positive note. Let's do it. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Oh boy, what a mishmash of a disaster piece this game has been. So, I think we've said this off and on a few times. Doesn't look the best. At all. Not at all.
My favorite is when the second player just expanded legs and arms while trying to get on the bike.
Consensus. In terms of an idea, brilliant. Open world Pokemon game. Great. I think a lot of people have been wanting to do that ever since they saw how Pokemon Arceus could work. Fantastic. Keep doing it. But man, from a technological standpoint, this game's a mess.
I think that's been patched out to a degree, though.
Patched out to a degree. And now granted, this is being recorded on the 12th of December 2022. So by the time this video comes out, all the glitches could be magically fixed. It might even look like a HD game. But at the time of literally right now, it's still not the most fundamentally sound game. I really hope Game Freak takes those lessons further on to whatever they do next. A new Pokemon game, a patch for this game, whatever they do, I really hope it gets better. So, with that said, let's get on to a positive game. A game that didn't do terribly. That's Sonic Frontiers. From a lot of people that I'm seeing, it's kind of like Arceus, except it's in the right direction. Whereas Pokemon is a good idea, but it takes a few steps back. Sonic Frontiers is doing the opposite. It's a good idea, but it needs to take those few steps forward in order to be a really fantastic game. But you know what, for me, I'm glad to see that Sonic is now working his way back up.
Yeah.
Will it continue to be an upward trend? I hope so. I mean, I find it ironic how when Sonic himself is doing well, his creator is not doing well. Do not inside trade companies, guys.
I think I'm out of the loop on that one.
Alright, I'll keep this brief. You know Sonic's creator, Yuji Naka.
Yes.
Okay. Apparently he's been arrested not once, but twice because of inside trading at Square Enix.
What's inside trading?
Okay, basically, if you have inside information, say, hey, we've got a big announcement coming out, you know, like a big game or a new invention or something like that, it'll make our stocks go up and we'll be rich. So what we'll do is we'll buy in before the announcement comes out, and then when the announcement comes out, stocks will rise and then we cash out. Yeah, it's like, yeah, not good. Not good. He's been arrested twice for that.
Wow.
So now again, is he guilty? Is he not guilty? At the time of recording, it's still not come out yet, fact or fiction, but still, it needs to be said. So that was the games in which we did not get round to playing this year, that we had planned. So, with that said, let's get to the games which we know were coming out next year-ish, and see what we think and what our plan's going to be for them. So, let's start off with the obvious, because of course, why not? Xenoblade DLC.
Yep.
Where is that next expansion pass, nor next bit of story gonna come our way?
Yeah.
Because for me, I've said it in videos before, but I'll say it again, I don't think I've looked forward to an expansion story more than this one.
Even torn and future connected?
Yes. Because I don't know what it's gonna bring, and based on how Xenoblade 3 ended, it's gonna be, I'm hoping it's one of two things. Either it's gonna be and before I continue, this will contain Xenoblade 3 spoilers regarding its ending. So, if you do not want them to get spoiled, I'll give you a countdown, okay? 3, 2, 1, spoilers. I want to see if Noah, Uni, and Lance can make their way back to Mio's world.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. Will it be a journey of just those 6 people? Will it be something for the entire both worlds? Who knows? Or it's going to be a prequel regarding our old characters.
Yeah, or just because, like, I think about that painting that we saw, or with artworks.
Yes.
It's like, I think we saw like strange unknown characters in the artworks. We'll have to see. Again,
it's either going to be a heartwarming story on characters in which we know and love, or it's going to be characters in which we know and love and how the world came to be.
Maybe about the 6 founders, because there are 6 characters in the base game, and 6 founders would meet the game mechanic thing.
Well, we'll just have to see. Monolith has been fantastic when it comes to its narrative on expansion passes. This, I can imagine, is going to be no different at all. So, now with that said, let's get on to the other ones. And the first one comes to us in January. Another Fire Emblem game. I'm still up in the air about this. What do we do? Do we LP it or do we stream it?
I'm thinking stream because compared to Three Houses, it doesn't look as riveting to me. But I don't know.
On the flip side, I also do not see it as being as expansive as Three Houses, aka not 3 or 4 routes to take. So it seems to be a single narrative, kind of like how the games before it. But hey, we'll see. And when the game comes out, we get a good idea on what it's like, and then maybe we will discuss it further. Next one up is Final Fantasy 16. I loved 15. What can I say? It was a fun game with a lot of flaws, but none of it was its own. More or less a development hell kind of issue.
I know that's a controversial statement, but yeah, we enjoyed 15.
And I don't like 10! Suck it, fanboys! And girls, all inclusive in this channel. But anyway though, again, I had fun with the 7 remake. I have a soft spot for like 10 too because of how silly and over the top it is. Final Fantasy 8 and 9 are okay. But really, 16, and we talked about this before doing the video. 16 on a visual standpoint doesn't look that engaging or unique.
Yeah, it just looks medieval. That's all I really know from what I've seen. It's like medieval war kind of thing.
I know it's got all British cast because that's what the developers wanted.
Mallows is in it, so that'd probably be the only reason why I want to buy it at this moment. That could change though if like a story thing drops or something.
You want the man who says indeed.
Indeed!
Indeed you do. Indeed you do. So, not much to say on 16, but hey, what you got there? And the next 2 that are coming up are games in which we were hoping were going to come out this year, but did not actually arise at any point in time. So we're not going to spend a lot of time over them, so just a quick retread. First off is an indie game called... I just got to make sure that I've got it right, because I always get muddled up with the name. Bomb Rush Cyberpunk.
Yeah, I think you're more excited about that than me, because I've never played Jet Set Radio.
I am a sucker for Jet Set Radio. I am a sucker for the soundtrack. Hideki Naganuma is a genius when it comes to making it funky. But I like how it's fun open world, you get to explore the area, and just like in Jet Set Radio, it's come out that it's not only Naganuma who's going to be doing the soundtrack, it's going to be a bunch of composers, but he's going to be one of the guys who does most of the mixing. And for me, he is a great mixer. Look what he's done to Jet Set Radio, look what he's done to Sonic Rush and whatnot. It sounds to himself, I just love the gameplay. So, that's one game out of the way. So, next one is Grand Blue Relink. And this one is a bit of an odd one, because this game has been in development for quite some time. You never would have guessed that this game began as a mobile game. Yeah, it started from mobile, got a good following, then got a fighting game in terms of Grand Blue Versus, which, again, pretty awesome. Its music is fantastic. It's got one of the guys from the Xenoblade soundtrack on it, so what's not to love about that one? It looks lovely, and it did have Platinum at the helm regarding its combat. Now, Platinum, from articles in which we've read up to this point, Platinum's work on the game has been done. So now it's just mostly fine-tuning, and hopefully things are going to be alright in that regard. Again, I could be wrong. If I've got all my facts wrong, then by all means let me know. But yeah, just that. And that's really it, really. Final one is, of course you guys know what it is.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, it won most anticipated game of the year. It's Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Breath of the Wild was our first LP on this channel, so of course we're doing an LP on it.
Of course we are, and if timing is right, if everything aligns with terms of releasing, getting episodes out and whatnot, I want a clean slate for when that game comes out in May. Like Al said, it was our first foray into the internet, in which the internet got graced, I say that in air quotes,
Yeah.
with our voices and whatnot. But still though, I would love to have a go at Tears of the Kingdom in LP fashion, just to see how far we've come and whatnot. So it's going to be a big game, it's probably going to be a big time sink, but you know what, I look forward to it immensely.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm really hoping for is more music. Like, really, I think that's my only gripe with Breath of the Wild, really. I want more soundtrack. Give me music. And not just like a 5-second piano sting, please.
I did like the piano stings, but I do agree more music would be nice.
Yeah. So that's our plans for the future. And I guess let's just cap off the video with, again, just saying how the channel's been growing strong ever since Xenoblade 3's announcements come out.
Yeah, as expected, though, it kind of tapered off after we stopped doing the news vids.
I know, but, you know, people still stuck around to watch some of our content. And hey, if you are some of those people who've watched during our, like, first initial reaction to the game being announced, guys, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And I don't know what episode is going to be released by the time of this video coming out, but if you've watched our LP from, like, episode 1 and just stuck around till then, Jesus Christ, thank you so much. And not to you guys, but for everyone who's watched our videos. We've always said this, whether it's for a minute, a second, or an hour, we honestly really appreciate your time. It's just, God, I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah.
Whether it's 100 subscribers or 300 or whatever, we appreciate every single person who watches our videos. And we can only hope that we are able to give you guys like a smidgen of enjoyment when watching our videos.
Yeah.
But we're still going to be doing this for a long time because LightlicePlays is about videos about us two, really.
Yeah, to me, I know I said this before, but it's a time capsule. I mainly want this channel to be like just a record of all the games we played and all our reactions and our time together. It doesn't matter if we never get 1,000 subs, as long as we can document our memories together.
Pretty much. And maybe we can make some people smile along the way.
Yeah.
Who knows? Again, if we've made one person laugh during our tenure on YouTube, then you know what? It's been worth it. But yeah, guys, with that said, I don't think there's anything else to say, really, unless you've got anything to talk about.
Xenoblade got done dirty at the Game Awards. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Not even Best RPG of the Year.
Yeah. I mean, I could go on about how God of War won a few things, but then Elden Ring came out of nowhere and said, like, oh, yeah, sure, you're Game of the Year, even though you lost in a lot of categories. But, you know, the Game Awards is not something to get passionate about, you know, it's just, it's not an objective fact.
Yeah, and Xenoblade's niche, so it's no surprise, really.
You know, Xenoblade went from getting snuffed at every single Game Awards to now, look, it's being in the nominations.
Yeah.
Hopefully next time Monolith can land a grand slam and get that Game of the Year. But I think with that said, I want to ask you, what is something which you want to do for the channel next year? Anything you want to change? Anything you want to try and experiment with? And you know what? What's your thoughts and feelings about the year been?
I think one highlight for me definitely is when we were playing Forgotten Land and I got my visa.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I guess really 2022 has been a tempestuous year because it's had a lot of highs.
Yeah.
And now we get to be in the same room without any legal thing saying we can't. So, yeah, it's been a 6-year-long process, but you know what? We can finally be together full-time now. So for me, 2022, it'll always be a special year for me.
That and Xenoblade 3 in the same year, how awesome is that?
Yeah, I suppose so. Xenoblade 3 might be one of the best games ever made, but still, I digress. But yeah, anything that you would want to try for the channel or any ideas you have, by all means, ruminate.
Maybe how the way like we start off Let's Plays.
Oh, do you mean on my personal basis?
Well, yeah, maybe. And also, I need to probably try and talk more.
Yeah, I feel like for me, I can definitely say, for example, for a fact that my opening for Xenoblade 3 may be a little bit too enthusiastic and maybe a bit tutorial heavy or stating the obvious pretty much. But again, we're growing as people and growing as content creators, so, you know, little lessons here and there. I think it's because, you know, excitement for Xenoblade 3 was high, and I kind of let myself get carried away, but, you know, it's lessons. It's definitely lessons. We've learned a couple of lessons on this channel, like say multiple route RPGs like Fire Emblem, probably not the best to LP.
Yeah, and also on my part, talking about Xenoblade Definitive Edition and putting Definitive Edition footage in there is not a good idea because it might be spoilery.
Yeah. Recording combat heavy games like Astral Chain, probably not the best idea to LP, especially if you're not good at them. Probably not the best idea.
Co-op games are probably a strength of ours.
Yeah, probably. I mean, look at Crafted World and whatnot.
Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, so again, co-op games is something that I would want to try and get in a little bit more, and maybe get back to streaming. It would be a nice idea. But yeah, guys, if you've got any thoughts about this channel, or you know what you would like to see us do going forward, then by all means let us know. But I think with that said, this year's been great.
Yeah.
And I've really enjoyed it. Especially since how I've been able to be with you. And talking to you lovely people on the internet. So, I think that's really it. You think?
Yeah.
Cool. So guys, with that said, thank you very much for your time, as always. Have a happy new year or Christmas or whatever you celebrate, and we'll see you in the year of 2023. I've been Lightning.
I'm Alice.
And we'll see you next time for whatever games we play next. Thanks for watching.